How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Minus the Gym, and I'm really excited about this video. I've been getting a lot of requests for it over the last month or so. It's going to be all about the B-bars, the latest product from BaseBlocks. I'm going to tell you how they compare to the BaseBar, what my thoughts are overall about them, all the pros and cons and everything. So let's dive right in. Alright, for anyone clicking on this video who have no idea what the B-bars are, they are essentially height adjustable, width adjustable parallel bars that you can use at home to work out with body weight fitness. And what's really nice about having height adjustable and width adjustable is you can use them for a variety of exercises, and I'll explain more of that in a minute. But at first, what I want to dive into is what you get when you open the box. Of course, it comes with assembly instructions, just like every product made by BaseBlocks, but it's really simple to assemble. There's essentially two base bars that you get. These are like upside down U-shaped bars with feet that stand up, and then there's two crossbars that connect them and a bunch of these click pins, and the click pins are what you use to lock them together. Assembly is really simple. I wouldn't say it's fast. I mean, it takes a good 15-20 minutes when, with all the packaging you got to open up and removing all the parts. But it's simple because all you're really doing is you're like putting these pipes into each other and then locking them together with click pins. And if you're familiar with the base bar, it's really the same thing. There's just more. There's more click pins and there's more bars to deal with. Now, before I go into the pros and cons and everything about the B-bars, I do want to talk about how it compares to the BaseBar, because I know a lot of people who subscribe to my channel and use my videos have bought a BaseBar, and you might be wondering, well, do I need to buy these? Do you recommend these? Are they worth it if I already have a BaseBar? So first, what I'm going to say is that if you put one of the B-bars next to the BaseBar, what you'll see is that they're almost identical in height and width. I will say that the corners seem to be like a sharper curve on the B-bars, whereas on the BaseBar it's a slightly wider curve. Also, the feet are narrower on the B-bars as well, and I think that was part of the design so that you could lock the feet together because you have two of them and you're locking them with crossbars. But other than that, like the height and width and the thickness of the bars are almost identical, so there's really not a big difference. And if you're watching this video and thinking like, man, I bought the BaseBar last year and now I kind of want these B-bars, I do want to mention that BaseBlocks told me that they have an expansion pack or an add-on coming out in a couple months that will allow you to turn your BaseBar into B-bars. So if you already have a BaseBar and you don't want to buy a separate set like this, just stay tuned to BaseBlocks on their website. They'll eventually, I think he said in March, they're going to release this expansion pack. Alright, so let's talk about the pros and cons. First, I want to talk about all the upsides to the B-bars. First and foremost is the fact that they are height adjustable and width adjustable. So there are two height settings. There's a high setting and a low. And with those two, plus being able to make them wider or narrower, you really can do almost every upper body exercise on bars that you can think of. On the high setting, you can do a variety of different pull-ups. All right, you're not limited to just pronated and supinated grip. Now that you have two bars, you can do a neutral grip pull-up as well. So keep that in mind. And you have width adjustable parallel bars here, so you can do narrow or wider grip on the neutral grip. But additionally, on the high setting, it's really good for working on your front lever progressions and doing any kind of work with rubber bands. All right, this could be pulling exercises, but also any pushing exercises on the floor, like if you want to work on your planche progressions or something. So I've been using my bands a lot more since I got the BaseBar and the B-bars. And the low setting, which I will put the height of the bar for the high and low setting on the screen so you know what it is while you're watching this. But the low setting is good for body weight rows because you can have your feet on the ground while you're doing your pulling exercises. Also, it's good for front lever progressions. And of course, it's good for any pushing exercises on parallel bars because you essentially have parallel bars at that point. You can do your dips, L-sit, planche work, whatever it might be on parallel bars. Another upside to the B-bars is that they're sturdy. I didn't expect anything less after having the BaseBar. I think it's really high quality. On the high setting, you do get a little bit of wobble to it, so you don't want to be doing any kipping or anything like that. It's not designed for kipping exercises anyways, but it's definitely very sturdy, and on the low setting, you don't get any wobble whatsoever. And one more upside I want to mention to the B-bars is that They do collapse fairly easily, or you want to allow at least like 3 to 5 minutes to take out all the pins and everything, but you can collapse them down, kind of flatten them against a wall, or even tuck them into a big closet if you have a closet, slide them under a bed, whatever it might be, but they do tuck away fairly easily. So I think that's good for people who have limited space. I'm lucky that I have an entire part of my basement that I've devoted to fitness, but not everybody has that. So if you're going to be using these, like in an apartment or a condo or something, you can, quite easily flatten them down, put them against the wall, put them in a closet, whatever you need to do. All right, and now for the downsides or cons or complaints I have about the B-bars. The first would be, and this is probably not even a good complaint, it's probably just me not being good at the click pins, but it takes me a while to change the height settings on the B-bars, because you have to take the crossbars off, and then you have to like flip them over, and you have to take the pins out. It's just kind of involved. And if you were thinking that, oh, I could like do supersets, right? So do one exercise at the high setting and then drop it down low and superset with another exercise, that's not going to happen. You're going to spend a good couple minutes probably at least changing the height settings. So you can change height settings between exercises, but if you're doing a circuit or you're doing supersets or something like that, don't expect that. Don't expect that you'll be able to drop the height really quick. And along with that topic, I want to mention that each of the bars has 8 pins. 4 in the bar itself, and then 4 in the crossbar at the bottom holding them together. So you have 8 per side, totaling to 16 click pins, which is quite a bit. And I didn't see any extras that came with it. So if you lose a click pin somehow, if you take one out and put it somewhere and you forget, then you're going to be down a click pin. I don't think that'll really ruin it. Like, you'll still be able to use the product. It should still be somewhat sturdy, I guess. I don't know how much it'll affect the stability. But it's just, I thought I'd get, 1 or 2 extra click pins just in case, but I didn't see any in the box. All right, at this point I'm kind of grasping for straws, but I do want to mention that one disadvantage for some people might be the thickness of the bar. And it's about the same thickness on the B-bars as the BaseBar. Sorry, I'm pointing behind the camera because that's where my BaseBar is currently. But the thickness, I'll measure and let you know how thick this bar is. I'll put it on the screen, but it's pretty thick. And for some people with smaller hands, especially women who've left comments on my channel asking about it, I mean, yeah, it might be really challenging for you on certain exercises because the grip is going to be more difficult with a thicker bar. So keep that in mind. It's not necessarily a disadvantage. You can also view it as an advantage, right? Because you're going to be developing your grip strength. But it's just something I wanted to mention. All right, so those are all the pros and cons I can think of at the moment. Those are all the important ones at least. So I just want to share my final thoughts and suggestions. Basically, what I would say is if you already have something to do dips on and use as parallettes or parallel bars, like for instance the Liebert equalizer bars, right? Then chances are you don't need the B-bars. You really don't. If you're happy with what you got and you already have parallel bars, then you don't need to spend your money on this. The only thing you might not have, the only advantage is that the B-bars interlock, so they're like connected together and they're more stable that way. I know the equalizers are separate, like 2 separate bars that you just move freely. But I would say also if you have the BaseBar already that you don't need the B-bars because you can just get the expansion pack when it comes out soon. So with that said, if you've been looking for some sturdy, high quality parallel bars that are height adjustable, width adjustable, and you can do basically every upper body exercise on them, then yes, I would definitely suggest these. And I would say, don't forget to use my promo code. All right, it's -10 at checkout. I'm affiliated with BaseBlocks. That means that I didn't pay for these, by the way, just so you know. A lot of people seem to be asking about that. They send me the equipment, and I try it out, and if I like it, I feature it on the channel. And lots of companies send me their equipment, not just BaseBlocks, but I only feature the stuff that I really use in my workouts and can recommend. If it's not stuff I'm going to use, if it's not good enough for my purposes, then I don't share it on my channel. All right, for those of you who are looking into buying the B-bars or just curious about them, I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please hit that like button because that helps me out in return and the YouTube algorithm likes it too. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Minus the Gym is all about home fitness and eating a healthy plant-based diet, and I'll see you in the next video.